Welcome back to Life of a Businessman. My name's Mr. Heka. We're speaking all things business lessons, life lessons, and good deeds. Today, we're going to kick it off with let's go business lessons. And this one it's definitely an important process depending on where you're at in your business or lifestyle or anything like that. But it's how not to be fucking poor. And I don't think everyone understands this. It's not just poor of mind, it's poor of money, and money is one big part of it. But I'll go through this process and explain. And this is definitely directed to anyone that's like trying to get out of like trying to start a business or try to do anything like that. And this is like a skill that I learned early days. So if you're like a super savvy business owner, this probably won't apply to you. Don't even fucking worry about listening to it. But a lot of advice that's always given out there, you can see it, let's say if you're in that poor person mindset, but you can't actually execute or implement it because it's too far-fetched. It's too far out of your like comprehension and you don't need to do it. And a big part of like my journey going through entrepreneurship or whatever you fucking call it was I had to like stop listening to all the advice that I was getting and then really like wind it back and try to simplify it in a way where I could understand to get from, point A to point B. And I really understood this when I think Grant Cardone or someone might have said this like 6-7 years ago, going to a millionaire or billionaire or whatever, and me getting some advice from him may not always land because I'm not going to be able to think like that or go like that. Yes, it makes sense to go do that, but when I go to implement it, it's not going to work. And where I started to really make the most ground in my life is where I really wound it back, and I was like, okay, how do I get someone, like if I'm in this fucking 200k mark, how do I get someone to give me like 600k and work up or whatever it may be? And that's where you've got to wind it back. If you listen to someone right now and he's making a gazillion dollars and you're going, oh yeah, fuck yeah, I need to go and buy 16 investment properties every year and start doing this shit. Yeah, it sounds amazing, but the ability to you to even execute on one of those fucking items is going to be zero. So yes, it sounds all good in theory, and yes, it is good and it is amazing to think big like that, but you have to get out of that fucking I'm so busted ass and broke that I can't live my life and move to this next phase. Then you can start to look at these bigger options. So how do I do this? And I think this is prevalent in a lot of like cultural stuff. So, a lot of family and people that are in this like poverty barrier, and I'm okay to say that because I'm fucking being broke ass many times. But one of the things that I started doing a lot, and this is probably going to transition into a life lesson as well, I started looking at every conversation I had, every interaction I had, every message I received, every phone call I had, and then every day I would write down what that was. Mindlessly just write it down. Don't fucking overthink about it and be like, okay, spoke to fucking John and we said this and he said this and we said this, and I'd write it all down. End of the day, I'd have a big bit of paper. Sometimes I'd stop every few hours and write it down or whatever it may be, or voice record it, whatever it was. I started noting down everything. Writing's probably the best. And at the end of the day, I looked at it, and obviously you're probably smart enough to look at that bit of paper and go, that's why I'm poor. Because every conversation I had today, it was either fucking, and this is exactly what you'll find, complaining about shit, talking shit about other people, just fucking dumb shit. And if you can just transition like 50% of that out and start either not having those conversations or saying no to them, and start having conversations, whether it's about money, whether it's about positive energy, whether it's about fucking manifestation or whatever. And this is a big thing as well. I'll speak on manifestation in a next minute. But having a look at this like list and having a look at it and going, okay, how do I get rid of all this fucking shit? And this might be a tough conversation that you have to have with some people. And I had this earlier on. I was like, hey man, like we only get on the phone, just fucking complain. I don't want to complain anymore. I'm like, this is fucking pointless conversations. Maybe don't ring me when you're driving home and talk shit. If you got something else to talk about though, you want to talk about positive shit, where we're heading in our life and something like that, I'll have that conversation. But tomorrow, don't ring me up fucking complaining and whinging about life. Some people might come back to you and call you up tomorrow and give it a shot. Others will fuck off. And quite frankly, that's a win for you. Doing that on repeat is going to allow you to rinse people out. Now, the reason why I do this is because it's hard to make that first move. You'll cut one person out And you'll probably find that probably 60-70% of people will just phase out. You'll have a couple of people that'll be like, hey man, that's, you're not you're calling them forwards as well. And they're like, shit, we do just get on here. We're not talking about bettering our lives. We're not talking about being positive. We're just complaining and doing all this shit. But also for you, it's like it's a real big slap in the face because you can't ignore it. You just wrote it down, and then tomorrow you're going to pick up all those same calls again and then respond to all those messages or be in those conversations, and then you're going to write it back down again. Like, you're going to get sick of writing down negative, dumb shit that doesn't move you forwards in life. And that's the whole psychology around it, where you've just got to do that, and you'll see it. When you start writing lots of like nice things that happened today, positive items, things that are moving you forwards, and that page starts to look a lot different, that's first phase. From there, you can go get some advice from fucking life coach, whatever, they'll take you to the next bit. But I'm just talking from starting 0 day dot, everything's fucked up, you're not making no money, poor old broke as shit. Just do that one step. That's it. You don't have to do nothing else. You don't have to buy no one's course or anything online. Just fucking do that shit. Write it down. You have enough money to get a bit of paper. If you don't have a bit of paper, get someone. Do that one rule. It's free. Doesn't cost you anything. And spend an hour every night just looking at it. Going fuck. And then your one job is just to figure out how to change what's on that bit of paper every day. To being positive and to working towards your life. I'll speak about manifestation because this is probably like business and everything like that. It's something like, people can shit on it, and there's this whole woo-woo, spiritual, blah, blah, blah. Manifestation is real, and people that aren't willing to create what they want, create their own life and be in it, it's fine. Man, I think people that aren't open-minded enough to think that they can manifest something. Manifestation gets a bad name because you get all these fucking hobos, walking around with no shoes on, thinking that they're going to manifest $1 million, but they're not going to do anything. That's the shitter side of it. I'm talking about people that are really clear on what they want to do in their life, people that have direction, have clarity, and I look at all of like the really top tier people that I've ever met, and I don't talk about just top tier and like some guys make some money and bought some fucking cool cars. I mean top tier people that have got businesses, relationships, children that still love them, stable minds, stable bodies, like the whole package. And they all very, very much follow the manifestation route. Now, I know it's got a bad voodoo name to it, but they're very clear on their intentions, and they constantly are thinking about it. They're constantly putting these things into motion. And when you are trying to, I guess, manifest something, it's not about, our creative power is infinite. No, we can create as much as what we want, but the focus, and your focus is really important. Your focus can't be everywhere. So in these early days, you have to really just focus on one item at a time. Now, you can go do this and practice on anything. Just manifest anything. Just try. And when it doesn't happen, that's fine. Just try again, and start with real small items and look for these. Try at least do one a week at a start. And then after that, you can start to do a couple more. It might be the fact that you're going to drive. I used to do this all the time. Okay, I would drive somewhere for dinner and be like, okay, there's definitely going to be a park right at the front. And I would put it out there, and And I would do this with heaps of shit. I would do this with anything like food, or I'd guess what someone's going to say. I'm going to get to a place and this person's going to say this, or this is going to happen. And I would just test the waters on absolutely everything and do real small stuff and then work it up. But yeah, if someone's saying that you can't manifest or you can't see it, it is like your mind can't tell between what's actually real and what's actually visioned. And so there's this whole fucking science, so you can go down a route and go down that rabbit hole if you want, but it doesn't actually know the difference between something that you've like visioned in your mind. So it's really important that you not only capture every thought that you have in your mind, but every one that's you're allowing other people to direct other thoughts and what you're around as well. It's really important that you don't let like just fucking losers around you. And that's why manifestation won't work if you don't have any of those things. If you're just being around shitty people all day and you go home and you're like, okay, I want $1 million. No, it doesn't really work like that. But also a really good book, The Master Key Systems, if you want to do a deeper dive on it. Great book. Life lessons, Yeah, that's enough for life lessons. Good deeds. My physio, Sam, the other day, who was having a really long day, and I know the motherfucker jabbed me with so much stuff, and he was like fucking needling me. He was actually brutally torturing me. And as a smart ass comment when I left, I was like, hey, brother. And he was talking about sushi and how much he loves sushi. I was like, I'm about to go to sushi. And he had a full day packed and he couldn't go to lunch or anything. And I was like, yeah, enjoy your day, asshole. And when I left, I was like, that was a bit rough. So I actually drove to Sushi Honda in Mermaid or wherever it is, and in Burleigh, got him the full slate, ice, green iced tea and everything like that, all the goods, all the bells and whistles, and then I went back to the actual where he was, and gave him a full, all the sushi, put it on a plate and everything, put it in the fridge because he was with another client, so he could quickly whip out and have it in between clients. So that was my good deed. So that's it. But other than that, my name's Mr. Heka. This is Life for a Businessman. If you want me to talk about any topics or anything below, if you got any hate to throw at me or anything nasty, please make sure it is, intellectually correct and you actually do have a good dig at me. Don't come at me with some fucking dumbass comment. At least try to hurt my feelings. Goodbye.